God is intentional. What about that truth? I know it's hard sometimes when we're in this space where everything feels so random. Who has COVID? Who doesn't? We feel random around what is going to happen for the future in our finances. Some of us in our relationships, some of us in our own relationship with ourselves. There's a lot of confused energy. But God is not confused. God is intentional. Let me tell you how I know something about that. So earlier this week, it might have been last week, Arlene called me and she asked me what my title for my talk was going to be. And I'm one of those people that operates from inspiration, and sometimes it hasn't come to me, or at least I think it hasn't come to me a couple of weeks in advance. And so I said, well, it's going to be the change. That's what we're going to go. And all week I was like, is that what I should have called it? Be the change? I'm not really feeling it anymore. I don't know where. But you know, life has a funny way of giving you an opportunity to embody that which you have set forth. Life has a way of giving you a personal testimony if you need one. Well, I don't know what God operates like in your life, but that's what happens for me. When I need a person, I was like, God, what am I going to say about Be the Change? Well, guess what? I got something for you to talk about, because there's only one of us, and that one of us is me. So I had a hard conversation. I'm going to go call it what it was. I had an argument this week with a close friend of mine that caused both of us a lot of hurt. And in the middle of it, you know, we get to doing some name callings, or you acting so fake, and, well, you know, you do drama and I don't do drama. And I was angry. And Thich Nhat Hanh says, anger is our baby. It's calling to us to pay attention. It says something is wrong. Check it out and see what it is. Maybe we're tired. Maybe we're hungry. Maybe we didn't allow ourselves to get soiled and dirty in our consciousness. And so something is going on. And don't be mad at the baby for crying, right? We're not going to shame our anger. We're going to say, what is this trying to tell me? It's trying to tell me that I got a place where I'm sensitive. It's trying to tell me to look at the patterns in my life. Do I do drama? Because I was quick to say, oh, you don't do drama. Of course you do. Oh, y'all don't think y'all minister talk like that? Of course, there's only one of us. So I'm human just like you, and I had that testimony to say I didn't know how to get out of it. I was stuck in it, just going back and forth. You this and I that, and will you always? And this is what we do. We trying to get the speck out of somebody else's eye without clearing the log out of our own. If we are going to learn anything, it's what we resist persists. So as long as you're trying to put up a fight, it's going to continue. Somebody, Reverend E says, the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. And oh, that's a hard teaching. But it says, look at your own pattern. Because if you're fighting over here, you're probably fighting over here too, right? So it is important to take a look at where is getting all of your attention, where is getting all of your resistance, and see if that's not an opportunity to be the change. And it's showing up all over the place for us. We have an opportunity now to be closer to our relationships and our family than we've ever been before. And oh, Lord, that's a mirror. That's a mirror. What you see is what you choose to see. Sometimes we want to be mad at the other parent. You know, I come from a blended family. We want to be mad. And I tell them, that's your choice. Your kids didn't make that choice. In most cases, that's your choice. And so now your opportunity is to model what it feels like to be in relationship with all of these people in your family. You don't have to be perfect, but you can be conscious. And what you can be conscious of, what we need to be conscious of, is our part. So when we get into that conflict with our children, or that conflict with our boss, or that conflict with our partner, those kinds of conflicts are opportunities to say, where are you just like me? Where am I just like you? Because another famous Reverend E quote is, it only takes one person to change a relationship. And you know that's not what we come with. When we come asking for prayer, half the time we come asking for prayer for somebody else. Yes? I just need, can you just pray, because they got it and they don't even see, and I want them to, and they need to realize, and this hurts me what they did. There's only one of us. So what's ever going on over there is triggering something that's in here. And if you look at your life and the pattern, it's been triggering. That trigger, them wires are in you. And when somebody connects with your wires, that's a fire right there. And so there's an opportunity here to just keep taking a look at our part, because our part is our power. That's the part that can be changed. Not the other person's part. Our part, how we respond to them, what we put out to them, what are our thoughts creating in our expectations. Expectations are just resentments on reserve, right? It's just, should I say that again? Expectations are just resentments on reserve. It means I've set you up to be something that I think you ought to be. And when you disappoint me, not if you disappoint me, because your expectations are a setup. Our expectations allow somebody to feel like they have to be something for us. And unconditional love is saying, I love you for you. That doesn't mean I like everything about your behavior. But life does not have to be perfect to be wonderful. And the difference is the attitude of gratitude. I'm grateful that I have somebody to be with in this time. And if I don't, I'm grateful that I have this time alone. How many of us have just been wanting some time alone? How many of us said, I just wish I had more time with my family? Oh, careful what you wish for. And so the opportunity is to let go of that persistent resistance and to be, as the Women's Chorus Ensemble told us, intentional about being the change we want to see in the world. Now, we need to talk a little bit about the world, right? Because what's going on for us and going on for our relationships and going on in our families and going on in ourselves is just a reflection of what's going on in the world. All that chaos within has manifested for so many people as chaos without. And so I've been reading Ernest Holmes' How to Use the Science of Mind. And he said, well, we need to look at where the trouble lies, because trouble always lies. It never tells the truth. So when we look at the trouble in the world, I always like for us to take a minute to detox, right, from that television. Oh, here we go. Because I went last year and I did some traveling through other parts of the world, and I was in Oklahoma, and I was just talking to someone from a conservative political party, because I felt like, okay, let me tell the truth. I felt like, well, if I got to understand how people come to thinking conservatively the way that I do, well, then I could have a better conversation with them. That was what I told myself. So here I am having this conversation, and the woman was just honest enough to tell me, she said, let me tell you what the problem is. Every time we talk to the so-called progressives, the entire goal of the conversation is to tell us how stupid and wrong we are for what we believe. Ouch. That one hurt, because I prettied it all up real nice. But that was still my goal, was to be able to make a connection so I could say you wrong. She said, can we just talk to each other without trying to prove something about who's right and who's wrong? And it's hard right now, because there feels like there's a consciousness that's happening in the world that is creating lack and limitation. And so the question is, what do we have for that? Right? We're always talking about we need to have faith. But what do we have faith in? We're always talking about we need to elevate our consciousness, but elevate our consciousness to what? Because what we believe in is manifesting in our world right now, right? Because we say a bunch of platitudes. We say things like love is stronger than hate. But when we find hate, do we respond with love? Because I'm going to tell you that transformation is possible, but not when you fight fire with fire, not when you curse the darkness. The transformation happens when you light your own candle. That's when we can be the changes. When I say, I will go into what looks like darkness and I will be a light, right? The light isn't cursing the darkness. The light is just being what it is. And that combination, if we really believe that God is all there is, there's only one of us, we got a lot of them, peace is the greatest power. But are we living it? Because this teaching, this science of the mind teaching, was about a knowing in something greater that doesn't just exist out in the ethers, that exists in us, that is activated by us, that is honoring our thinking with the creativity of a natural law that says whatever you put into this soil will grow out into your life and into the world. So I was looking at the behavior of us on the progressive side. And I just started looking with a different set of eyes after I talked to this woman. And I don't really watch television news because my experience is it's not news. It's mostly commentary. So I try to get mine on the internet where I can have a bunch of different sources and see which ones are trying to give me some information and not just some opinion, right? So I get a lot of opinion whenever I turn on the television. But I just said, well, let me just experiment because, I didn't watch Fox from the beginning. Everyone used to tell me, well, you have to watch Fox to see what the other side is thinking. I said, listen, I don't read the National Enquirer to get my news. And I'm not getting ready to watch something that's not news. Because it's going to be in my consciousness. And every single time I make that error, what I resist, it just persists. And so I said, well, let me try to watch our stuff. And I turned on some MSNBC and I listened to this man. I don't even know his name, which is good. And he just went on and on and on. And I'm pretty sure for about 15 minutes, all he said was Trump. And Trump this, and Trump that, and then Trump did this. And I mean to tell you, I don't believe in the devil, but I sure thought I heard about one. And then Trump, and Trump, and from the beginning Trump, and then Trump. I ain't heard that many Trumps since I used to play spades. I mean, what is going on? I mean, what do we believe about consciousness? Because I think what we teach is what you think about. Where you place your attention multiplies. So we got a lot to say about what everybody else ought to be doing. Well, where is the mask? And are they staying away 6 feet? And they out here at the park doing this and they beach and they go. And some of that impacts us. But what do we do about it? Do we resist? Do we judge? Or do we say, where have I broken the rules? Where have I created a situation for somebody else is unsafe? And how can I have compassion for those who just want to touch somebody, who just want to be close, who just want to be in the sunshine? Can I have something else to offer them besides my judgment and my fear? Because we could focus on the people who are right around us. We could focus on the spirit that's trying to talk to us right within us. And I'm pretty sure that spirit is not saying, go out and condemn those people. That's not our job. That's not our job. And let me assure you that I have signed up for it. But what spirit was saying to me is, oh, you want to talk about being the change? Come on with your own life. Come on with your history of your patterns of all of this conflict and fighting. I remember when I was married, my sister-in-law saw the conflict my husband and I were having, and she pulled me to the side and she said, listen, the wife can run the kingdom if she just let the king wear the hat. I fell out. And you know the first thing my little boxer self said? Well, what about my hat? First thing I thought. And there it is. The way you do one thing is the way you do everything. I was ready for conflict. If you going to have a hat, I'm going to have a hat too. Now, I don't know if you have anything going on in your life as you're quarantined like this, but if that was helpful, you understand what I'm saying? And so we can't go out here with what is the old saying? If you point one finger, there's 5 pointing forward, 3 pointing back at you, right? That's what you have to realize. If that's the consciousness, let me go and see what I can find fault with, right? Oh, you'll find something. You know, if you turn over every stone, you're going to see something creepy and crawly underneath one of them, right? So is that our job? To be turning over stones, to be throwing stones? Or is our job to let go of that resistance and to be intentional about being the change in every situation? On page 110 in How to Use the Science of Mind, Ernest Holmes says, nothing that all people confined have ever experienced, nothing that all people confined, that's us, have ever experienced can in any way hinder the flow of the original mind. Now, what does that mean? If everybody is experiencing it, it doesn't impact or change the power of God. And what does that mean? It means that we can't give in to a virus. It means that we can't give in to a fear consciousness. It means that we cannot give in to the sniping that's going on in our household. This is an opportunity to go deeper in meditation, to teach the children how to do it. This is an opportunity to pray together. This is an opportunity to post affirmations all over our house. This is an opportunity for us to have the time we always wanted to practice our spirituality, to figure out our relationship with God. This is the time that we wanted to have set aside. This is that time. And so the only question is, are we going to use this time to change? And you can see it. Some people are making that change all around you. You see new creative ideas and businesses and music that's coming out and all kinds of stuff that's happening. You're like, oh, somebody was thinking when they came. I saw the other day a key thing that you use to open doors so you don't have to touch the door. I said, ooh, somebody was ready and thinking about that. Creativity is happening around you. But sometimes when we see good happening, we respond with resentment. Now, you know somebody who's happy all the time that gets on your nerves. Don't act like it's just me, right? That person who's like, hey, hey, hey. Every time they see somebody and you just like, hi, right? Because there's something that is hard for you to believe that anybody else could be that happy. But whether they are or are not is not your business. The question is, can I be happy? Can we be happy? Because that's the block, right? Is do we have Ernest Holmes talk about having a bigger bucket, right? We feel like, okay, well, it's only so happy I can be given what happened to me when I was 5. Given how my parents are, given what my ex did, given how my children are acting, there's only so happy I can be. But you don't know somebody else's story with a smile on their face. You're assuming that their life was all good, and that's why they're smiling. But happiness is a choice. It's not an experience. It's what you decide to be with what you have. Life doesn't have to be perfect to be wonderful. I get to decide what I'm grateful for that can be the consciousness, the motivation, the thing I have faith in. I get to decide that. And so when something happens and I see that couple over there and I wish I could have that, I just need a bigger bucket because, again, you don't know what they have going on. When somebody wants to give me something and I have a hard time receiving it and I want to be suspicious of the gift, I need a bigger bucket. There needs to be something in my consciousness that says I deserve all of that. I'm grateful for what I have. And because I'm grateful for what I have, because I know I didn't get it because I was smart or cute or pretty or rich or any of those, because I was manipulating to get the circumstance, all these things, that's how we think everybody got what they got. Well, they got that because they smarter than me. They went to such and such, right? They got that because they had this connection. They got that because they look like this. They got that because they from whatever. Make it up if you want to, or make something else up. Something else that says, I am deserving of all the joy, all the prosperity, all the peace. I am deserving of all the love that there is. I remember one of the first times I heard Reverend E talk, she said, if it's $1 on the planet, I'm going to have it. And I surely thought, well, we're going to have to split it. Because that's the consciousness that creates prosperity. There is no lack and limitation, not on this planet, not right now. There is an abundance of absolutely everything. The question is, who believes that it's for them? Who believes that all the good that's available, it's like God is the ocean and I'm just a cup of that ocean. So everything that God is, I am. Everything that God does, I can do through, what did Christ say? Through all things that Christ does to strengthen me. I can do all things through God. That's what we teach. I'm just saying, what do we believe? That's what we teach. The question is, what do we believe? And so oftentimes we're in search of. We're looking for something, someone, some job, some insight, some person that's going to allow us to feel complete. And it's not wrong. This is what the universe of human consciousness has been teaching us over and over and over again. Every movie, romance movie, every love song is all telling you you're going to find something that's going to make you complete. Every story of rags to riches is like, then something happened to me. And all of a sudden, I had wealth and success and power and notoriety. That's not how it works. Thoughts are things. And so how we think in our consciousness is creating our own reality. And so we're out here searching for what it is that we already possess. The things we believe are true. I am the candle that lights the darkness. I am the love that drives out hate. I am the presence of peace. And in my presence, discord cannot prevail. It just cannot. Not for me. And when I stand as the presence of peace, it absolutely influences everything around me. And so we have to think about what we think about. Whatever it is that we resist is going to continue to persist in our lives. We have to be the change. Whatever it is that we're angry about and we're putting all our energy, whoever it is, we're blaming or shaming or casting, whatever we're doing to somebody else, it's happening to us. You can't put somebody in jail unless you're willing to stand there and guard them and spend all your time as the consciousness that's making sure they don't ever recover from the hurt, and they out in the world living their whole happy lives, right? So we have to search, not because what we're looking for is something that we already are. And so all we have to do is make a bigger bucket and allow the universe to give what it's been wanting to give us since we got here. It wants to give us joy. It wants to give us prosperity. It wants to give us love and peace and all of the good things. But there's something in the way. It's our yes. There's something in the way of us receiving all the good that would allow us to withstand all the circumstances, to see something bigger and better and an opportunity in the middle of this COVID. I'm telling you, we out here worried about disinfecting our groceries when we need to be disinfecting our consciousness, because when we disinfect the consciousness, everything around us will be clearer and more beautiful and more available. But that disinfecting of the consciousness is saying yes. It's saying completely yes to spirit.